So, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It's very nice to see you and hear about your progress. Let me inform you about my progress over the last months. My topic is advances in endoscopic ultrasound-guided biliary drainage. My name is Panagiotis Paraskevopoulos. I work alongside Balin and Mahmoud. And my mission, it's still very vague, but basically it's to find a proper idea and implement it properly. I don't know yet what this idea is going to be, but hopefully with time it's going to be something more specific. I have two projects, and maybe some of you remember that my second one was going to be about the prediction model in variceal bleeding, but this is not going to occur. We're going to do something else. Now my first project is about the addition of antegrade stenting in patients undergoing hepaticogastrostomy for malignant biliary obstruction, offers better outcomes, because this is what the data suggests. And the second one is about the efficacy of different endoscopic ultrasound-guided biliary drainage techniques. So for my first projects, the prevalence of malignant biliary obstruction is approximately 15 to 100,000 people. But the problem with that is that usually these are terminally ill patients, such as pancreatic cancer patients or cholangiocarcinoma. For this reason, the only thing we can do is palliation. So palliation is basically opening up the bile system so the bile can flow. For many years, the gold standard has been ERCP. If ERCP fails, such as cases with surgically altered anatomy or duodenal obstruction, the second choice is percutaneous biliary drainage. But over the last decade, this new method, because it has different techniques, this new method of endoscopic ultrasound-guided biliary drainage has emerged. And it seems like it offers better outcomes than percutaneous biliary drainage. So, my project is about comparing two of these techniques. One of them is hepaticogastrostomy. In hepaticogastrostomy, basically, I make a connection between the stomach and the liver, the B2 or the B3 segment, because we cannot approach the B1. In antegrade stenting, I do the same thing, but I'm not making a connection between the stomach and the liver. I would like to mention actually that ERCP means endoscopic retrograde. Retrograde has to do with the direction of the bile, because when we go inside, basically what happens is I go from the papilla inside the bile duct. Antegrade means that I go with the direction of the bile. So basically, we're going to check if the addition of antegrade stenting offers better outcomes. And as you can see here, the indications for the two techniques are similar, so we can combine them. And we searched in 5 databases. We have updated our search key in June 2016 of 2023. And now we have 25 articles, and for the outcomes, so the first one is technical success. Technical success is measured in all studies as a successful stent deployment. You can imagine if I have 2 stents to put, it would be harder than having 1. So in the first part, you can see antegrade negative, that means only hepaticogastrostomy. In the second one, antegrade positive means hepaticogastrostomy with the antegrade stenting. Of course, it's harder to perform 2 procedures than 1. So this is why the proportion is lower. But now we're going to see if it's worth the hassle. So for the clinical success is defined differently in different studies. I try to find an inclusive definition. So the definition I use in the meta-analysis is a decrease in bilirubin by 40% at least in 1 month after the procedure. So with this way, we can include all of the different studies and we can have homogeneous results. You can see here that it seems like the addition of the antegrade stents offers better outcomes, a very much higher proportion of decrease in bilirubin. I should also mention that the heterogeneity in the studies is non-existent, so it's very consistent, the results, and we have reached statistical significance. So another very important aspect is the overall adverse events. And I'm very happy with that because it seems like really the addition of the antegrade stent will decrease the overall adverse events by half. So just hepaticogastrostomy might have like 20% chance of having overall adverse events. but the addition of antegrade stenting decreases it in half, which I think is very, very good. It's very helpful for the patients. And again, we have reached statistical significance, which is very important. Another thing that I would like to mention is that all of our studies, unfortunately, are not ERCTs, they're cohort studies, which might decrease a bit the quality of the evidence. But still, I think we have a clear direction, and the endoscopists have a clear direction, which is very useful. Lastly, for the reintervention rate, unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of results for that, so we just did this simple analysis. It's not statistically significant, it's not clinically relevant, so I don't have something more to add to that. I have finished the manuscript, it's with my supervisor. I am waiting for the reply. And yeah, so for my second project, it has a very similar background, so I'm not going to mention anything. I'm just going to show you the two PICOs. In one side, we're going to check the different stents and the clinical, technical success, adverse events rates for the different stents. In the other side, we have many hypotheses that we can test through the different techniques. And we're basically going to make various subgroup analyses, and we're going to check again clinical, technical success and overall adverse events for the different techniques. So to summarize, these are my two projects. I hope that I'm going to submit the first one very, very soon. And for the second one, it still needs a bit of discussion with my supervisor, with my SMS, so I can really know exactly what we're going to do. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Pana. Questions, please.
Congratulations. I noticed in at least two of your figures that there was a in figure 4 or 3 as well. So there's an article by Takeshi Ogura et al. From 2013, and also there's an article published in 2018. Was there any overlap between the two? Did you check that?
Actually, there are more articles by Takeshi Ogura. There are also some for just hepaticogastrostomy. For these ones, I cannot say there is overlap because we don't have individual patient data, but they are published, they have different follow-up times, so I guess there are different patients, at least most of them.
Thanks.
I'd like to ask, do you have also information about specific adverse events, like for specific subgroups?
Thank you. I really wanted to do a subgroup analysis on that. I wanted to test a hypothesis about the bile leakage, but unfortunately we didn't have enough data for that, unfortunately.